Contact! One on the left. Boom. Two.
Hey guys, what's going on? It's Joe with Rebel Outdoors, also known as Skeeter. So today I'm going to be going over my AR build and my setup and kind of why I chose the things I did and what I'm doing with it. So I built a Recce rifle, also kind of my Predator gun. For some of you guys that are looking at it, you guys are probably saying it's not a Predator gun, but it works great for Predator hunting. So to start off right away, I'm just going to start from the back to the front and just kind of dive right into the video. So the rifle itself is a Diamondback. They're not the highest brand. They're not a Daniel Defense. They're not a Colt. They're not a Noveski or anything like that. But they're a good budget brand, I think. I think the whole gun itself, like without the optic, the grip, the light, and the sling, and the mag pull bad lever, it was like $650. It's a really good base rifle. It's a 16-inch barrel. Compensator, not the biggest fan. If you ask any of my friends that have shot around me, they don't like it either. Makes the gun really loud. It is not the funnest thing to shoot around. You have to make sure you have your pro on, which you always should anyways, but every once in a while someone slips. Anyways, back to the video. So, stock, it's a Knight's Armament stock. It came with the rifle. It's a 6-position retractable stock. It's kind of loose. Not a big fan of it, but I really do like the shoulder piece. It's really comfortable. It really fits into my shoulder really well when I go from the high port right in, or just trying to shoulder it normally. It's super comfortable to shoot. I mean, it's 5.56. It doesn't kick hard anyway, so you can shoot these things all day. Going right into that then, to the sling. I've got the Magpul MS3 sling in tan. Really, really love this sling. This sling was actually shown to me by Hunter. He was running this sling on his rifle for a long time. I think he still does. Sweet thing about this sling is that you can go from the 2-point to a 1-point with this. Super easy. So those guys that kind of go between shooting a 1-point and a 2-point, kind of want the best of both worlds, I would definitely recommend this sling. It's also got these really cool locks on the right where you actually attach to the sling mount. You just push them in, and then you can attach it and detach it, lock it in place so you can't actually hit it off or knock it off or whatnot. So after the sling, we'll go right to my safeties. I do have different safety selector. I have ambidextrous. I've got the Odinworks 4590. Super big fan of these safeties. Really am. I love how I can. It's just a way better transition, and it's a little bit more faster for those guys that like to shoot fast. I guess I just like it because it's more comfortable. My thumb just kind of sits there from the 45 and goes right to the 90, right to fire. So, and also ambidextrous. So when I'm doing offhand shooting, or if a lefty like my dad comes up and shoots my rifle, it's already ready to go for him.
Screen, Dad.
Moving on to the scope. Actually, my bad, the charging handle. So I have the same charging handle that came with the gun, but I have the Odinworks attachment for it to make it a little bit, or extended piece from the Odinworks. Sorry about that. Really like this with the scope and the scope rings. When I didn't have that, it was super hard for me to get behind and get on my charging handle. With this, it just falls right there and it's perfect. I don't have any complaints about that. Moving to the trigger and the grip. So trigger stock, that's one thing I love about this gun, being like that. I haven't changed out my trigger. $650, I have a really good trigger in this gun. It is unloaded, so I'll mag out real quick. Come back. It's not super heavy. I'd say it's probably about like 6 pounds, and the reset's pretty decent on it for a stock trigger. Other than that, like I said, nothing's done with the trigger. Moving up right next to the trigger, though, is going to be the mag pull bad lever. For any of you guys that shoot with the mag pull bad levers, you know exactly what I'm saying when it changes the game. Really does, and there's going to be a lot of hate probably out there from a lot of people, but I love my bad lever. My reload's way easier. You know, you're not going up looking for a little button. It's all right with your index finger. You can sit there and you can manipulate the bolt with your pointer finger. I guess it doesn't matter with the mags in it, it would lock anyways. But it's super simple. Come back, hey, lock my bolt, instead of having to take your hand off the firing hand off and pull it back conventional and then hit it, it's super easy with the bad lever. And then as soon as you just insert, you're good. So it definitely speeds up for those guys that shoot speed. If you don't have a bad lever, I'd look into it. It does help. It does reduce a lot of time. Going from there, optic. Yeah, optic. Wow. It's the Bushnell 1x4 AR223 scope. So it's a adjustable scope. I believe it's got 110 minute of angle for the elevation and windage. So that's a lot of adjustment for a scope like this for a 1x4. You're not going to be shooting 700 meters with this gun, this scope anyways, by no means. So like I said, it's a 1x4. It's a second focal plane optic, so the crosshairs get bigger as you zoom. I have it set to 2, just for me personally. Anything close from like the range today, I was shooting about 25 meters in. 2 times is perfect. I shoot service weapon is the ACOGs, and I'm at it 4 times fixed no matter what. So I run 2, and then if I go out past 75, I just throw it to 4. Works really good. I was hitting, I think, about like 100 yards today with steel on 2, so not too bad. Scope, the scope was not the best. I will say this: it's a budget scope. It costed me maybe like $200. It was my budget. It was like kind of a budget build. That's why I went with the base model, anyways, as a Diamondback, and the scope being cheap. It didn't take a lot to get up and going. So the scope rings are Burris. Absolutely love these scope rings. I have nothing to complain. They stay tight. I haven't had any trouble with them loosening up or anything like that. Really cool thing that they got the little Picatinny rails on top, just in case you want to add an RMR. I don't really know what else you'd add up there. Maybe like a red light for predator hunting. I don't have one of those, but good place for an RMR if you don't like running them canned. Going down to the rail. I got a key mod. It came based with the gun, so I'm not sure what brand it is, but it is key mod. I'm not going to tell you key mod's better than M-Lock because honestly they did the same thing. It just came with the gun, and I was like, alright, cool. Got a Picatinny rail up on top where I've got my pressure pad mounted. I've got my BCM gunfighter grip attached to it. Obviously it's in key mod. I didn't put a rail mount on the bottom. And then for the light, I got a Crimson Tracer. This is like a really good budget light. I would say for what it does. It's 900 lumens, so it's very bright. I don't do anything inside, so all those guys are like, oh, you shouldn't have that bright if you go inside with a rifle or anything. I don't do anything inside. I shoot outside. All right. It comes with a pressure pad. So cool thing is this is gonna be really bright, but big pressure pad. It's just as you press it, it's on, and then there's a little button, continuous on. Sorry, Daniel, behind the camera. Super good light. Like I said, 900 lumens. I've been shooting ever living crap out of my rifle since I've been home. Done a lot of shooting. The light, my bad, hasn't had any problems staying on. It's uses 123s lithium batteries, so those last a good amount of time. I haven't had the battery dim at all, and I've probably used the light for about 7 or 8 hours now since I've been home doing night shooting and whatnot. And the light still hasn't really dimmed at all. Haven't noticed anything. Like I said, pressure pad comes with it. I got that set up off of Optics Planet. I want to say for roughly like $95. So it was pretty decent versus your Streamlights or your Surefires and all that stuff. That's like $200-300 just for a decent rifle light. The mount is a key mod mount, so I have this mounted to the normal side of the key mod. If you guys can see that, so that keeps it super, not low profile, but it just. I would have preferred to have a cannon, but I don't have a little cant for it, so that's why it's there. And then moving to the compensator. So the compensator, all it has is Diamondback on it, so it came with the rifle itself. When I bought this gun, I initially bought it in California, and you're not allowed to have flash hitters out there. So this is what came with the gun. And I promise you it's not fun to shoot around. Honestly, sometimes I don't like even shooting my gun because it's on there, and I just haven't switched it out yet. But I don't really notice a difference between a compensator and a flash hider besides the fact that it hides a flash. It doesn't really do anything with my accuracy like everyone says it does. I mean, I shoulder my rifle, and I shoulder my rifle, and it doesn't really move when I shoot. So, but other than that, I will run a bipod sometimes, I guess, for when I'm predator hunting, if I'm taking longer range shots. It depends on where I'm hunting at. If I'm hunting like in close, like in a wooded area, and I'm calling coyotes there, I'll just run what I have now. For those guys that are probably going to say that, oh, this gun's not a predator gun, I've shot 3 coyotes with this already in California with the way it's set up. Obviously in California, I didn't have the pistol grip. I had the little tail fin, and I had a fixed stock just because of the rules and regulations out there. Alright guys, that's my AR Recce / Predator rifle build. I hope this kind of gave you guys an insight if you guys are getting into like shooting and whatnot. Don't be afraid. Go down and click that subscribe button. Click the bell. Like the page. Also, go to our Facebook. We've got sweet hats and shirts there for sale. And as always, this is Skeeter. Signing off!